Hello Sparkle lovers, this is Alice. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you've been with me for a while, welcome back. You know the drill, turn on that record resolution on the video. Today, the sneak peek on my channel is Gemini by ChrissaBug. If you watch some of my older videos, then you would know I also worked on her Midnight Spell. I added a lot of sparklers to it. I'll link the video up here. But also during the process of working on that kit, I got to chat with ChrissaBug a little bit on Instagram because I ordered some of her art prints to go as reference as well as just, admiring her artwork. So today I have a surprise for you. We got ChrissaBug on the channel for an exclusive interview. So we'll dive into a little bit of her journey as an artist, what was sort of the thought process and ideation behind this piece of artwork, as well as anything else in between. So without further ado, let's go to ChrissaBug. Hello, this is Alice, and here we have ChrissaBug today with us. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with her, but feel free to introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, I'm Chrissa. For my day job, I'm a 2D game artist and animator, and then on the side, I make illustrations. And I've been really lucky to be able to license some of my artwork with Diamond Art Club.
We are very lucky to have your art license with Diamond Art Club. I would say I follow you from... Yeah, your art was one of the first one I purchased when I got into this hobby because the first one I bought was Midnight Spell from you.
Oh my gosh, wow, that means a lot.
Yeah, totally. I look at that little witch, I was like, that is so cute. And I saw the fire that she's doing the magic with, and then the candle on the side, and the two kitties, they were absolutely the cutest. So I was like, I totally want to make them sparkle extra, add some special diamonds. So that one definitely stood out to me.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I mean, that's one of my favorite illustrations that I've done. So yeah, that means a lot.
Yeah, of course. I do wonder, since we're on the topic of that painting, but then we'll talk about the painting later today, which is Gemini. For Midnight Spell, where did you draw your inspiration from?
Well, that one of my friends named Sims Art, he's actually an amazing illustrator as well. He was hosting a challenge, and it kind of included like a witchy sort of scene. And so it was kind of my take on that challenge. And I don't know, afterwards it turned out so well. And so when Diamond Art Club was, wanting to license some of my work, I asked him like, hey, it was part of your challenge, but are you okay with me, licensing with this company? And he was totally fine with it. So yeah,
that sounds cool. I wonder, since some of your artwork has more background, like in Midnight Art, she has a bedroom on the behind, she has some kitty art on the wall, she has some lights on the top, and then some other work like the recent releases like Gemini, as well as the other goddess that I think as the time of the recording it got released yesterday, they have lesser of a background. So how do you usually decide on that? Like, of course you probably draw the main character, but then you probably also decide what theme you might want to have in the background.
yeah. So the Goddess series, and as well as like the Zodiac series that I've been doing, they were drawn as more inspiration from like Art Nouveau, and how Art Nouveau is usually set up with like a main character and there's like flowy fabric, and sometimes there's floral designs. And so it was taking a lot of inspiration from that. And yeah, just kind of applying my own style to it. And when it comes to like full scenes with a character and a background, it kind of just comes to whatever I'm feeling like, because
Right.
I like to have a mixture of things. Like sometimes throughout the month, I will try and do a mix of artwork. Well, some of it will have like a full background, some of it will be mainly just character focused, and then some will even just be like portrait focused. I'm a little bit like chaotic when it comes to what I want to do. It's like I have multiple series going on at once, and it would be a lot faster if I would focus on one series at a time. But just to keep things interesting for myself, I feel like I have to have that variety.
Oh yeah, so you have multiple going on in parallel.
Exactly.
Do you feel like that keeps your inspiration flowing more if you rather than just focusing on one series?
Yeah, for me it does, because if I focus on, I guess I'm a little bit like ADHD.
We
If
all
I
are. I think people into this hobby are super ADHD.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if I am trying to, hammer away at one series, one style of illustration for too long and too many like pieces in a row, I start to fall out of love with it, which is the opposite of what I want to do with my art. My art is very much about like, yeah, it's what I want to do. Is I like to embrace what I'm passionate about and what interests me. It's the whole reason that I do it. Otherwise, I would just continue to work my 9 to 5 job and not really bother.
Yeah, speaking of that, I'm curious. I guess I read your bio that you're American illustrator in Sweden. Did you grow up in the US? How did you, move to Europe? What led you there? Is it your career or study?
Yeah, so I'm American. I was born and raised in Utah, and then I got a degree in animation in university, and then I got into the video game industry, and I moved up to Seattle, and I lived most of my adult life in Seattle working in the game industry. And then I kind of just got this random idea popping into my head that's like, it would be really cool someday to live and work in Europe. It seems like the quality of life over there is pretty good and a little less crazy, but beside the point. So I kind of like did a little bit of research into the countries over here, and it seemed like the Scandinavian countries just seemed like they had like a really high quality of life, and also Sweden, specifically Stockholm, is kind of a techie city where there's quite a few. I mean, for the size, because it's a pretty small city, but for the size, there's a fair number of video game companies. It's also kind of an artsy city, and
Interesting.
so yeah, when it happened that a job opening came up, it was actually my husband who was contacted by the recruiter, and it was the perfect timing. And so we were like, yeah, we think like this is it. We need to like jump on this. And so they
So
moved us.
did he
Oh,
move to that role that he was recruited first, and then you found a separate one, or is it like at the same time?
yeah, so his company moved us over, and I didn't have. Actually, at the time, I had like been on a year break from my studio work. Not a break. I was like jumping off to do free, like independent illustration, the stuff that I've been trying to like build up over the years. And I was doing a lot of like Comic Cons and stuff. And then we moved, and suddenly there's not as many like conventions in Europe.
Oh,
And yeah, which is kind of sad. And so suddenly I was like, okay, what do I do? Because I didn't have as much of a following online at that time. So I started looking around, and I ended up finding a 2D artist and animator role at a very small game studio. And so I just like randomly applied, and I've been working there ever since. But now I've gone down to part-time so that I can focus again more on the independent illustration stuff.
well, you said that company does 2D games, right? Do they make any games that we know?
Probably not.
But then
It's
you did mention you went part time, so then you must have built your online presence and an income stream that way. So how did you achieve that?
Yeah, it's been a really long process. And I mean, it was most of my income, I guess, comes through Patreon. And I've had my Patreon up and running for maybe like 7 years. It's been
Wow.
yeah, I joined like very early on. And so I've been building it up and trying to figure out like what do people want from me? How to make it as organized as I can, even though I'm not a very organized person, and make it helpful and valuable to the people who join. So, the Patreon is kind of like my main base, but then I've also dabbled in a lot of things like I have like a Gumroad shop where I sell digital stuff. I have like an
Oh
imprint.
yeah, I bought some of your stuff from there.
You did?
Because when I was working on Midnight Spell, I was like, I really wanted to see the original art in high resolution. So I think I bought the HD file and I bought the postcard, or was it the print? And sold as a sticker to go with it so that I can use as reference when I was painting it.
Oh,
And
nice. That's so
yeah,
cool.
so I think you have those, and I think you might have some swag as well for like t-shirts and mugs.
Yeah, so I've just been playing with mugs recently. I'm still kind of like dabbling in more products because it's a little bit more complicated trying to find like reliable reliable printers that also doesn't take a ton of work from me because I'm already
Right.
really busy.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so it's been a mixture of things. And then recently, in the past, like, I guess year, that's when kind of licensing my work has kind of come up, which has been really cool. It's not really something I had ever considered until Diamond
Yeah.
Art Club reached out to me. And then it was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a thing?
That's kind of funny. Which is why that reminds me, I wanted to ask you, like when you first got reached out by Diamond Art Club, I'm assuming they noticed your artwork first and they just emailed you, hi ChrissaBug, can we license it? And you were like, this is a thing, but then what else did you think about?
Yeah, so, well, at first because I wasn't familiar with diamond art at all.
Right.
So first I was like, is this a scam? But then they sent me, it was a great email. They sent me all of their, how their company is run and how, like, kind of their pitch, I guess, and what makes their company different and all of this. And then I did my own research and kind of looked through what diamond paintings they had available. And I saw that there was some really, like, prominent artists up there that I have known since I was, like, a teenager. And so
which
I'm
ones?
like Josephine Wall.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so she was. I looked up to her so much when I was younger. I had one of her art books, and so yeah. Then I was like, okay, this is probably legit, and yeah. And then I got like introduced to the diamond painting hobby because after I licensed my work and they created like some of my first kits, they were really kind and sent me feline familiars.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was my very first release.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I guess I will try this out. And then it was like, I wasn't expecting to like it so much, but
it was like a slippery slope, right?
Exactly. It's so satisfying placing the diamonds. I thought, like, there's no way I'm going to have time for this, placing all these little gemstones. Like, absolutely not. But then I started doing it, and my husband started doing it, and he's more addicted than I am.
That's pretty much my story too. Like the first time we got into this hobby was when we were like just wandering in a random hardware store when we were visiting family. We're like in a arts and crafts aisle, and what is this diamond painting thing? And we bought one. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. And even my boyfriend was like, I don't think you will like this. It seems pretty tedious. But then I was like, oh, I'll give it a try, right? Because we're here like in the middle of cottage country, not much else to do other than we were working remotely, but then other than that, we don't really have much to do. So I started placing them. I was like, okay, time for bed. Actually, I don't feel like going to bed because I want to do more. It was like, it turned out to be way more addicting than I thought.
It's like, okay, I'm just going to finish this color. Okay, maybe just one more section.
Yeah,
okay, maybe just...
Totally. That's so funny. So do you still do them sometimes? Or, I mean, you do spend a lot of time working on your artsy career, right? So I don't know if you have a lot of time for that.
Yeah, so I've done 3 so far, and I'm in the middle of Midnight Spell, actually.
Ah! Are you gonna add some of your own twist to it, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good idea. I might, but I'm not sure what. Like, for now, I'm just kind of... We leave it, like, on the table. So in the morning when we have coffee, we just kind of like, okay, we'll do a little bit of diamond painting. It's a nice, relaxing morning.
That's so nice to incorporate it into part of your day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Let me see. What else did I want to ask you? Oh, right. Since you mentioned Josephine Wall was one of the artists that you look up to. Even though, unfortunately, I think they're no longer with Diamond Art Club because, licensing agreements and whatnot, it could, But who else did you look up to? Were they part of the styles that inspired to be your own style, or how did your style came about, or how did you find your own style, I guess?
Yeah, so, I mean, I would, let's see, when I was like a kid, I was really into like, and I guess I still am, into like fairies and fantasy. And so that's why I was really into like Josephine Wall. And I
Mm-hmm.
was into, when it comes to more like classical painters, Waterhouse. And
Mm-hmm.
then as I became like a teenager and got more familiar with like the digital art scene, of course, Loish is a huge inspiration to a lot me as well. Lots of digital artists, like we all look up to Loish.
Mm-hmm.
And but something interesting happened. Like I went to university thinking I was going to go into like concept art, animation stuff. I did get a degree in animation, but once
Right.
I got to university, I kind of looked around and realized that my skills were not really as good as a lot of my peers. And I
Oh.
thought, oh, okay, maybe I'm not like cut out for the actual drawing part.
Hmm.
And also in university, they didn't really like the type of stuff that I do because I do lots of like girly sort of artwork, which they weren't too happy with. And I was discouraged from doing that. So in university, I was like drawing a lot of stuff that I just really wasn't interested in. It really wasn't resonating with me.
Like, would they give you like a theme? Today's assignment is to draw this kind of stuff.
It was more like they gave us a lot of open projects, but the feedback that we would get a lot was like, if you did a project that was maybe in like my sort of style, I would have gotten like kind of negative feedback, like, yeah, like
Aw.
this isn't what like companies want to hire for. This is
Wow.
it's a pretty common like art school story that a lot of artists kind of get discouraged from like
I
doing style.
Yeah, I had no
Um,
idea that type of stuff happens in art school because I did engineering myself, so it's like, pretty straightforward whether this is the right answer most of the time. I admire my artsy friends. I cannot draw at all. But I never knew that they would sort of impose that sort of, I guess, ideology on you guys when you're in art school.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot, maybe not all, but a lot of them, they have good intentions. They want to make sure you can get hired after you
Mm,
graduate.
right.
And in their view, it's just like that style is not popular, especially if you
Mm-hmm.
are like anime influenced, which I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't necessarily say. I would say that I'm influenced by anime because I watched anime as like a teenager,
Right.
but I wouldn't say that my style now is like super anime, but
Right.
it's
Right.
anime enough that they would be like no one wants to hire you for this.
Oh.
Um, yeah, so I forced myself to kind of draw in styles that I wasn't really interested in so much that I got really burnt out. So I graduated from university. I got a job in, actually, I was a visual effects artist in video
Mm-hmm.
games,
Mm-hmm.
which was really fun. But I didn't really draw for about 2 years after I was in the industry and I had graduated
Hmm.
from university. And so, but then I went on a trip to Italy and saw all of the amazing artwork there and like the amazing colors and stuff. And I also picked up a comic book called Echo, and it's by an artist named Alessandro Barbucci.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's more known for like Sky Doll and Witch. Like it's WITCH
Yeah, yeah, the which that
with
would do
the
crafts.
periods. Yeah, exactly. And his stuff was like he's Italian and it's kind of anime-ish, but I really loved how like expressive his characters were and like
Mm-hmm.
the big eyes and they were cute, but also kind of sexy. And like it really resonated with me. So I thought, okay, just because I want to draw what I want to draw and like it doesn't even matter because I have a job, who cares?
Yeah.
I'm just going to draw what I want to draw and I want to draw like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of what got me restarted with art and I learned how to do digital art from there. Yeah. And it's what started this whole journey because essentially since then there's not been hardly any days where I haven't drawn. And that
Mm-hmm.
was probably about like 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my long answer to your question that Alessandro Barbucci is a big influence in my art.
I'm so glad though, because I felt really bummed when you mentioned, you felt like you didn't draw for 2 years. That must have been, I don't know, you probably felt like not very fulfilled as an artist.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. I mean, it was at an interesting time because, it was exciting because I was a new a new employee in the game industry.
Right.
And so I was focusing a little bit on that. But also when I would come home from work, it would be a little bit empty. Like, now what? Like, where is my creative fulfillment? There was something kind of missing.
Yeah, yeah. You did mention that the person that inspired your art style drew witches are kind of sexy. And I know from your Patreon that you have sometimes spicier version of your actual art. Is that related?
Yes. I mean, I would say he's probably the first one who kind of inspired it.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I grew up feeling, I don't know, quite restricted. Like, I shouldn't explore nudity. Like, that's, I grew up
Oh, you mean for drawing or just for like...
both.
Okay.
Because I grew up in kind of a conservative culture.
Okay.
And so, yeah, and then once you're an adult and you have this inspiration, it's like, oh, maybe I'll try drawing some of that. I mean, the nudity I draw is like not really that, like...
I mean, I've seen them. They're like very tasteful. It's just like the same pretty goddess just without clothes, but they're tasteful.
Yeah, it's not too spicy. It's pretty mild. But like, I think that a lot of people, but especially women, we have a lot of like expectations put on our bodies and how they're supposed to look, and like sometimes we're also discouraged from like feeling sexy ourselves or like appreciating a woman's body, even though for some reason everybody else can appreciate a woman's body, but you can't appreciate your own body. So all of that kind of going on, and so I do kind of feel like it was a little bit like liberating to explore, at least somewhat like tasteful nude artwork, and like appreciating, like allowing myself to appreciate,
I agree.
a beautiful body.
Yeah, I agree. Like those statues in Europe that, I mean, you're probably now lucky able to see a lot of. Some of them are nudity, and I personally think not everybody should be looking at it in a sexual way, because human body is just something I could appreciate even without relating it to things that are, So I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And I guess like now that you mention it, it probably was also to do with that trip to Italy, because I was looking at a lot of ceilings that were like nude people floating around in flowy fabric. And so I was like, oh, these are so beautiful.
Those are like a totally normal part of the European art scene, right? So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I do wonder, when you are creating art, do you have, say, listen to music or watch something on the side, or how do you keep staying in the creative flowing zone when you're drawing?
Yeah, so I do a couple different things. If I am wanting to do things quicker, because I'm distractible, it's actually much faster for me to either put on just like some flowing sort of music. Sometimes upbeat music is really good too. Weirdly, like hardcore metal keeps me on task. But not always. I don't always listen to that. I also like love podcasts. And so if I'm like not working on a tight deadline or something and I can take my time, I will often have like a podcast going or something, just because I like learning about lots of different new things and topics. And so I will listen. Also, just it's nice sometimes having people in your ear listening to them talk while you're working on something all day. But I've definitely noticed there's a difference in how quickly I will get something done if I'm listening to a podcast versus if I'm just like listening to music.
Like I'm assuming you're faster when you're listening to music.
Much faster.
Yeah, some podcasts could be a little distracting because you listen to this whatever thing they're talking about. You're like, oh, interesting. But then at the same time, you're probably not output as much to your drawings.
Exactly. I mean, it's like I'm still drawing the whole time, but my brain is not fully focused on it. So it's, for some reason, it's just slower. And maybe I should like record myself and just see like, what am I doing? Why is it so much slower? Because I'm drawing the whole time no matter what. But for some reason, it's just much slower when I'm listening to podcasts.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, but I love podcasts. I mean, they keep me company. So
yeah, you mentioned deadline. So since you do these illustrations as an independent artist because they're not for your day-to-day 9 to 5 job type of thing, what kind of deadline would you have?
Well, every month on Patreon, I try and make sure to complete a certain
Oh
number of
yeah.
like illustrations every month because I have the art packs. And then there's also stuff for like the tutorials, which take a certain amount of quite a bit of time to do each month. I usually try and get at least 4 illustrations done every month for the art packs, but I try and okay, my minimum is 4, but usually I try and go like 5 or 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so those are kind of my self-imposed deadlines. But
I
sometimes
see.
I do client work. Like I've done like a book cover before.
Oh,
I
you would
was
take commission?
yeah, I've taken some commercial commissions. I did like an outfit design that had like a really tight deadline a couple months ago. And
Okay.
so for that one, it was like, okay, no distractions. Just like need to crank this out. I gave them way too generous of an estimate
Right.
because I was like, oh yeah, I could probably do this in like a day. Why did I? Yeah, another
That's
ADHD problem.
yeah, like, oh no, I can totally do this. It'll be done tomorrow. And then tomorrow you're like, fuck, why did I do that?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that happens. All right. Thanks so much for sharing your story so far. I guess before we go a little bit into Gemini, since you had such a interesting history of your own personal development as an artist, what is maybe the one piece of advice you would give to someone young that's just starting out, or something you wish you knew?
Keep drawing what you are passionate about and what you're interested in and what resonates with your heart. Don't let external factors, don't let like people, if they say like, oh, I don't like your style or I don't like the content of your drawing or whatever, don't let them discourage you. And also don't let things like social media like jerk you around or art direct you. If you finish an artwork and you are proud of it and you are interested in that subject, but maybe it like flops as a social media post, like it happens, and don't let it like keep doing what you want to do basically, and you will find your crowd. Don't just do something because you think it's going to be popular. That's probably my main piece of advice, especially yeah, there's just more and more like distractions, and I think that we've kind of lost this, not lost, but it's a lot harder to find kind of what we're truly interested in and how we truly want to express ourselves, because you feel like there's all of these expectations on you to yeah, deliver what the public wants or something. But it's really, really important to keep doing what you actually want, because that's what will keep you doing art and what will keep you happy, because the more you do something that you enjoy, the more you'll probably do it and the better you'll get at it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If you got discouraged by external factors and you force yourself to draw something else that you don't personally resonate with, I'm pretty certain that your flow of creativity would just stop, and then
Exactly. It makes the whole process so much harder when
Yeah.
you don't like what you're doing.
I agree. Cool. All right, so onto the artwork Gemini. I have seen that they released the first one on your Zodiac series, I believe is Cancer. And then they released a Goddess yesterday. I think you have a lot more of the Zodiac series as well. I don't know if you're allowed to tell. Are there more of the Zodiac series coming out?
I don't know if I'm allowed to tell either. There are
Okay.
more of my artworks coming.
All right.
Which ones they are,
We'll leave
I
it at
don't-
that.
yeah, exactly. I
All
just
right,
don't
all
want to
right.
like spill the beans if I'm not supposed to.
Okay, cool. And then Gemini, and I guess since Cancer is also already out, where did you draw the inspiration specifically for the series?
So once I kind of wanted to take a break from the Goddess series, I thought, okay, I should probably do a Zodiac series. Like every artist needs to do a Zodiac series. It's like you need to at some point. It's just a requirement, I feel like, an unspoken requirement.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I want to do a Zodiac series that's kind of in a similar style to the Goddess series. I actually started with Gemini. Gemini was the first one. Yeah, I don't know why they released them swapped, but Who knows?
I actually assumed Gemini would be the first one too, because I hadn't seen any of your other zodiac series before. But
Yeah,
they
I don't
released
know.
Cancer first.
They really. I have no idea. I'm sure they have a very smart people working on like why they release when and what.
Right.
But yeah, so I wanted to do it in a similar style and vein as the Goddess series, so kind of a little bit Art Nouveau inspired, but with my own sort of twist and style. And I wanted to incorporate more of like the symbolism that goes with each of the zodiacs. So there's the constellation behind each one,
Yeah.
and then I also try and include like the monthly flower that goes with the zodiac. So
Oh. So you looked
yeah,
up what month is corresponding to what flowers.
exactly. And I think Gemini is, is it? It's a purple flower. Is it? Now I have to look it up because I don't want to say it wrong. Lavenders. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So
as a
there's
Libra, I kind of wish lavender was for Libra, but
Yeah, I'm a Libra too, actually. Yeah, so there's lavender in the corners and on the in the hair. And then I also looked up the like gemstone that is associated with each zodiac. But the one that came up for Gemini, and I don't know if this is the only, probably not the only gemstone associated with Gemini,
nah.
'cause it's not really a
Right.
gemstone, but pearls were associated with Gemini.
Oh yes.
And so they have like pearl
Oh, that's why
necklaces.
they were wearing those.
And then there's kind of the little Gemini symbol as part of the dress. And
Oh yes,
sometimes
they use that as the thing that ties the dress at the waist.
exactly.
I really love that.
Thanks. And what else? There is sometimes I look up what metals like are associated with each zodiac because they all have a lot of like jewelry on them. And I think gold was associated with Gemini because that's what I drew. I hope that is what it was.
That is what you drew. That's what I was looking at it as well. I was like, the girls are wearing pearls. They're wearing a lot of gold accessories. So I must ask Carissa about that.
Yeah, and then of course I look up kind of the color associations, and you can get a lot of like mixed kind of information on all of like the astrology stuff. It's kind
Right.
of whatever anyone feels like, it seems like
Yeah.
sometimes. But definitely like purple was associated with it, and I also added gold. I can't remember if I like gold was specifically like symbolic, or if I added it just because it created like a good color harmony.
Purple and gold together. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, what else? I mean, Gemini is like the twins, so it's the two girls. And a lot of the descriptions of Gemini is like people who have Gemini personalities can kind of have two sides to them, where it's
Right.
like, and they can like flip, to the dark side or the drama, or they can be really nice and, And so I thought, okay, not that either side is bad because they're not. They're just different and equal sides and balance each other out. And so I thought, okay, they're like twins, but they have like one has light hair, one has dark hair. And so that was my thoughts behind it. One has a white dress on. The other one, you can't really see her dress much, but it's also a dark dress.
That
So
makes a lot of sense. A lot
yeah.
of ideas that went into that.
Yeah, when it comes to these types of like both the Goddess series and the Zodiacs, I try and include, layers of like symbols or symbolism just because it makes it more interesting for me and also for people who are maybe really into astrology or they're really into like the mythology. I feel like it can be more interesting for the viewer as well. Kind of an inside joke. Not a joke, but like, insider knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Right.
it's that thing and it's because of this.
What zodiac are you?
I'm Libra.
Oh, you're also a Libra. So when
Yeah.
you drew Libra, were you like a little bit, okay, this is my side. I must make it the best.
I gave her a sword. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make her like, because Libra always felt weird because it was like scales. It always felt like, this doesn't match me, and the like exactly, the symbolism is weird. It's just like a pair of scales. And so I'm like, well, okay. justice, scales. She should have a sword. And so, yeah, I gave her a
Right.
sword. A pink sword.
Yeah, yeah. What I often joke about being a Libra is why we hold a scale is because I have difficulty making decisions. So I'm
Oh,
always
yeah.
like option A or option B, but I like them both for different reasons that I cannot decide. That's when I'm like, I feel that's the embodiment of a Libra.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point.
It's
that I
not. It's
hadn't
not
thought
so
about.
much like justice, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It's funny. I didn't know you're also a Libra, so that's interesting.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, I don't know. It seems like is there a lot of Libras and Virgos? Seems like there's a lot of birthdays around like autumn time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never
I have
seen
my
like
I have my theories about why, but we don't have to talk about this podcast.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily appropriate. All right. I guess that's the Zodiac series. Do you have other new series that you're thinking about to create later, or what are your current ongoing series?
So I have 3 more to finish for the Zodiac series. I have Pisces. I did do the joke Pisces post
What do
for
you mean
April
joke?
April
Oh,
Fools. It
I
was
see. So it wasn't the real Pisces.
no, because I basically took the Gemini piece and I put fish heads on both of them.
Okay.
I'm worried that some people didn't realize it was a joke, but I will create a new piece for that, not just the joke piece. And then what's next? We have let's see, Pisces, Taurus, and Aries are the 3 I have left to do. And then I'm also at the same time I'm working on turning my goddess series into coloring pages because I really want to make a coloring book this year. But since a lot of those are like painted over, I have to go back and redo a lot of the line art, so it's taking a little bit of time. And other ongoing series that I have going right now, I've been getting really into like meditation and visualizations to try and like deal with my anxiety and constant existential crisis. And so I've been doing some artwork to try and like explore that and express a mixture of like maybe visualizations that I have and also like goals. Like someday I would love to achieve this amount of inner peace. That'd be great. And so I've been doing that. And what other series do I have going on? I have this kind of an offshoot of like the goddess series that's more mythology couples that I've been starting to explore. I haven't done one in like maybe a month or 2, but I have I started with Hades and Persephone, and then I did Eros and Psyche. And then so I'd like to kind of continue those. I have an idea for a new one that I should really get to now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm really excited to do that one. But yeah, those are the projects that I have going on right now.
Good. I follow some of yours on your Instagram, so I'm really looking forward to the new artworks that you will create in the future.
Thanks. That means a lot.
Yeah. So I guess that's most of the questions I wanted to get to for today's chat. I'm very thankful that you agreed to do this. I actually didn't expect you to say yes, so thank you very much for that.
Thanks for reaching out. It's super fun. I know that like sometimes, I'm a little bit slow at replying to messages and stuff.
No,
I
you're
get
pretty
a lot,
fast. Yeah.
It was a fun talking with you guys. I feel really, it sounds so corny, but I feel like really blessed to have, come into like the diamond painting community. It's such a supportive, like, and friendly community. I used to not really update like my Facebook art page very much because I thought like Facebook is dead. But
this
now
hobby
that
seems to really live on Facebook, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, but now that I'm like more part of the diamond art community, it's really helped me like activate it again, because there's a lot of people who have found me through the diamond paintings, and they're
Mm-hmm.
always so nice and so supportive and
Oh.
like, yeah, the best people. And so I'm like, okay, I will make sure to update my Facebook so that they can see the new art, if they don't like go to
Oh.
Instagram and stuff.
Okay, so ChrissaBug updates Facebook just for us. Yay!
Yeah,
Thank you.
basically.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, thanks so much for your time. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Oh, thank you for
And
inviting me. I enjoyed talking with you
yeah.
too. It's so fun to chat about art and diamond art and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I have never got to actually talk to my artist this way.
Oh,
So
I'm the first
thanks.
one. Well,
Yes, you're the first one.
yay.
Yay. Alright, thank you, and I hope have a great rest of your weekend.
Yeah, you too, and have a good Easter. And
Yeah.
maybe we can say goodbye to the viewers. Goodbye, viewers.
Goodbye. Yeah, alright. Take
All right.
care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the chat with ChrissaBug, and let's dive into the kit. So here is the kit. As usual, let me cut it open from the top. First thing, always the toolkit. Let's see what washi tape and cover minder I got. So the cover minder I got is a little bear with a pineapple, and this is the washi tape. Sort of continuing the floral theme from the previous kit. Here is the small sticker. We have dimensioned 20 by 30 inches on there, and it's Gemini by ChrissaBug. Ooh. Look at that, the star at the top here for the constellation, spelling out Gemini, the two girls for the zodiac sign. Thank you note from the founder. And this is the big sticker sheet. We have the artwork name Gemini by ChrissaBug. And it's all round diamonds. Dimension is 20 by 30 inches. And we have 58 colors. And you can tell there are 3 ABs because anything under, actually 4 ABs. Anything under the number 150 by Diamond Art Club is an AB diamond. Sorry. Excuse the disruption. Andrew brought me back some boba. But our next step is to make a measurement. So the width is approximately 50.4 centimeters versus 50.7 on the sheet. And then the length is 70.57 versus 76.0 centimeters. So it's pretty close to the measurement on the sheet by like 0.2 centimeters in each dimension. So that's really, really close. I would say it's true to size. And let's take a look at all the colors. Here is a group picture of all the colors. As you can see, because of dark color background, there's a lot of dark colors in here, but that also means a lot of color blocking. All right. Alright, so here are all the 58 colors. The first AB is 105. It's a brownish AB. And the second AB is 127. It's a baby pink, shell pink kind of AB. And the third one is 129. It's a very pastel yellow, light yellow. And 141, the last AB. We probably all know by now it's the white AB. It's probably one of the more common ABs. And surprisingly, there's only this much in the kit. So I'm assuming this is probably going into the zodiac sign. We'll see. So here at the top of the canvas, Do What Make You Sparkle Diamond Art Club is their branding. And we have 105, 127, 129, 141, the 4 ABs. The symbols that we're looking for is pretty much 1, 2, 3, and a black dot on white background. So that makes it really easy to find. So first thing first, we already noticed a lot of 1s. So all the brown ABs are used as the border or like the frame of the artwork that ChrissaBug already drew in her original artwork. And you can sort of think of it as the frame of the artwork. And in this first star of the constellation, we have yellow AB number 3 and the white AB. White AB is in the middle, the center of the star, and 3 is sort of the cross, or like the sparkles coming off the center of the star. And we notice very similar pattern in the rest of the stars of the constellation. They all have the white AB in the center, and for most of them, except for this one, every other star, I mean, it goes all the way here, but every other star, they all have the yellow AB outside of the core of the star. So, you know, white and yellow in the same pattern. And we also notice Gemini, the name of the zodiac is spelled with the yellow AB as well. So this is also going to be glowing off the artwork. So it makes sense that the interline that connects the stars of the constellation is not charted with ABs. If I were to enhance this painting personally, I might replace, you know, the lines that connect the stars with something that is a little less eye-catching than AB, but stand out a little bit more than the plain original diamonds. Just so it stands out a little bit off the background, but does not outshine the stars of the constellation, if that makes sense. And I like to experiment with different sparklers anyway, so we'll see what I decide to do in the end. And if we keep going, we notice that this is a flower petal.
Lavenders.
Or like a decoration coming out of the girls, and it has a little bit of white AB in there as well. But other than that, the next place that has AB is on the 2 earrings that the 2 girls are wearing. They're matching earrings, so that's really cute. Imagine you and your besties wear the same earrings. They also have the yellow and white AB to highlight the gold accessory. Although one thing I will say is for the lips of the girls, they just use regular red diamonds. But having seen how Craftily have charted Very Familiar, where they charted the lips with red rhinestones or crystals, I might attempt to do the same thing as well, just so I make the 2 girls' lips also reflect more light like lip glosses. But that's just personal creativity, don't mind me. We keep going. We see that there's some number 2, which is the shell pink AB on the necklace that the 2 of them are wearing, which is also matching. However, let me pull it up closer for you to see. The necklace has pink AB and then like a normal purple diamond. And what I'm thinking is I still want the necklace to really, really stand out because, you know, I personally really love jewelry. I will probably substitute the plain purple in their necklaces with crystal or jelly, just so it's like AB, crystal, AB, crystal, AB, crystal kind of effect. And the purple crystal will hopefully complement the Aurora Borealis coating of the white AB diamonds. And then we keep going. Ooh, the canvas got a little stuck at the bottom here. There we go. We keep going and we can see that there's some more yellow AB on this shoulder of the girl. It's kind of a scarf that surrounds both of the girls because it came from bottom here, it landed on the shoulder here, it goes behind this girl, and then it come out of her arm over here. So we have some yellow AB on the shoulder of the scarf. And we also see that there's like three AB, or I should say there's 3 yellow ABs here on her arm. And it continues the theme of highlighting gold accessories with yellow and white ABs on this bangle that she's wearing on her arm as well. And this is probably the dress of the second girl because it's sort of like a draping material on the arm. So imagine you have a dress that's like this, and you know it also has like a little loop that goes onto each of your arm. So this is not an actual accessory or jewelry, I think, and that makes sense why it didn't really get highlighted. But this is definitely a bangle, so it got highlighted. And then this is another golden accessory at the waist. This is actually the symbol of Gemini. So this is a really, really cute detail that ChrissaBug has put in here. That is not only the symbol of Gemini, but she's also using it as a clip or belt that clipped the dress here to show off her curve, I would say. So that's a really cute, nice detail. And again, it has a few yellow and white AB to highlight the gold. And we also see this number 3, the yellow AB, sprinkled a little bit in here of the scarf or the chiffon. But something that I almost missed is how much pink AB is in the entire dress of the first girl. I imagine it's like a chiffon material kind of dress, which is very similar to Aphrodite. That is also ChrissaBug's artwork. Aphrodite also had a lot of AB throughout her entire dress because she's also wearing a pink chiffon material kind of dress. So this has a very similar vibe to it, and it has a lot of the pink AB sprinkled throughout the dress. Let's keep going. So this is another bangle she's wearing on her wrist, also with a little bit of the yellow and white AB to highlight the details of the metal. And here continues the chiffon scarf throughout the 2 girls with some yellow ABs over here. And at the bottom of the canvas, I don't think I see any ABs at all because it's all just 310 and the dark color is over here. But one thing that it does keep having is this border throughout the entire canvas was all highlighted with the brown ABs. And I don't really see the brown AB used anywhere else on the girls. So I think all of this entire bag is just to use as the frame of the artwork. So yeah, that's all the details in Gemini by ChrissaBug. Here is the canvas right next to me, so you can get a sense of the size, 20 by 30 inches. It's pretty substantial, but for the amount of details, they really needed to render it in this size. There's a lot of color blocking in the background, for example, at the bottom corner, the top. So since it's also round diamonds, the color blocking will go pretty fast. And then when you get to work on the girls, there's a little bit of a confetti when it comes to the hair and the face, but even on the body and the dress, there's quite a bit of color blocking. So there should be a lot of fun when working on this kit. I personally would probably bring her up even more. For example, add some more gold to the bracelets, to the clip over here. Like I mentioned, make the necklace stand out even more and things like that. So I definitely enjoy blinging her up. Even though I am not personally a Gemini, when Diamond Art Club offered this to me, I really couldn't resist it because of how much I love ChrissaBug's artwork, and this is the cutest artwork I've seen about Geminis. So if you're a Gemini or you got a friend who is, make sure that you don't miss out on this kit. I hope you got to know all that you wanted about this kit through the sneak peek. Thanks you very much for ChrissaBug for coming onto my channel to share her journey as an artist. I really enjoy getting to know the artists, and I thought, who's better to present their work than themselves? In the future, I will hope to invite more artists to come on as much as possible, or whenever I can, chase them down to come on. So if you like this format, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like. I hope to have more artists on the channel in the future. If you'd like to stay up to date to what kit I'm working on, make sure to follow me on my Instagram. With that being said, I hope we stay in touch, and I'll see you next time. Bye!